All right, then there is what is called factor. Okay. Factor is a data type that depends upon the values of a variable. That's character. Okay, if it is character, I shouldn't say just characters. If there are only few values that gets repeated, like for example, sex. So you have male, female, and there are only two possible values. And if you have a data set of like million records, okay, instead of having them as character, okay, if you code them as a binary value 0 or 1, it'll take much less space. So you set up a factor and you say these are the original values that correspond to levels. Okay, level 1, level 2, level 3, and you code the levels. Okay. Like majors, okay, accounting, management, finance, and so on. So you have only few, but you have 20,000 students' records. Okay, there are only the values, distinct values are only few, 4 or 5. So then you can set that up as a factor. Okay, so let's look at factor here. Say A5. Okay. Now you can create. What I'm creating is a vector. I haven't talked about vector yet. Okay, but we will talk about vector very soon. And you create vector with what is called C. C stands for combine, by the way. And then you put in the values. Okay, say and all right, okay. So this is a very useful, convenient thing that RStudio does. It gives you an X mark here that tells you that there is something wrong in the line. So you can go and check that. And yes, I don't have a closing quotation mark. That's the reason why I'm getting an error here. Okay. So now if I type off, I can even use class. Class is another one that I can use. A5. So it's going to tell me that it is a character vector because I have M's and F's in quotation mark, so they are stored as characters. Okay. But I can make them into factor, and it need not be character vector. You can have numbers, but only few numbers. Like for example, how many bathrooms are there in the house? Okay, so you have, well, hopefully there is one. Then maybe 1, 2, 3, maybe 4. So few, right? So you can have those as the vector, as a vector, and you can convert that into a factor. Okay. So I'll show both of them. So you can say to convert that into a factor, all you have to do is say as factor. And this as function is really, really useful. You have as factor, as dot factor, by the way, as dot integer, as dot character, as dot lots of other things. Okay, so now I'm not saving it into anything else. So when I do that, it's going to give an error. Okay, so what did I do wrong here? The factor. I misspelled factor, right? Okay. All right, so now it tells me these are the values and these are the levels. Okay. And this is a useful thing for us to do. We will be doing this often. And say A6 equal to, suppose if I use numbers, right? And then say as factor is 6. So again, is going to convert that into a factor. Okay. And this is something that we will do quite regularly when you have a character variable or a categorical variable, that is. Okay. If you have a categorical variable, it's useful to convert the categorical variable into a factor. Okay, so that's your data, right? There are 4 data types, and if a variable has only few unique values, then one possibility is to convert that variable into a factor. And it's very useful to do that.